Voters will get to decide who the new mayor is November 3rd. I'm Maddison Smith reporting for ASU TV News. Campbell said, once they turn in the papers, the city will be happy to assist and speed up the rebuild process. Reese said they are working every day to get the building permit and believes that it will happen eventually. They just haven't reached over this hump. I'm Maddison Smith reporting for ASU TV News. Whether A-State transitions to a full online model is still unknown, but professors say that they are ready to handle anything that's thrown at them. I'm Maddison Smith reporting for ASU TV News. Native Brewery is still waiting on permits and license to move the process along. They are hopeful and excited, like many people in Jonesboro, to have a new experience and a space to be with friends. I'm Maddison Smith reporting for ASU TV News. Raised in Jonesboro and a graduate of Arkansas State University, Andy Shatley is running for the position of mayor. Shatley is currently the director of sports medicine at St. Bernard's Hospital. Shatley's campaign focuses on three main goals, which he calls the 3 T's.
Words that I use in my campaign is trust, transparency, and teamwork. Those are words that are not just campaign slogans. They are words that describe me as a person. They describe my career, and they also describe what type of leader I'll be in the future.
In the mayoral debate hosted by KAIT8 and held at Arkansas State University, Shatley was able to state his plans on major topics concerning Jonesboro. One of the main topics on the agenda for the night was the growing diversity of Jonesboro.
The third word of my campaign slogan is teamwork, and that specifically refers to having a culture of inclusiveness and acceptance, and also bringing everybody who is talented to the table. The minority population in Jonesboro right now is about 20 to 25%, but the leadership in Jonesboro is probably less than 10%. So we have to make improvements there.
People in Jonesboro have been showing support for Shatley since he announced he was running for mayor earlier this year. According to Shatley's campaign website, Quentin S. said, "So excited for you, such a great person running for an amazing position." Arkansas State University graduate Drew Robertson states he supports Shatley for his focus on active transportation along with the police and fire initiatives for Jonesboro.
He's a team player, man. He wants to get everybody involved, and he really believes that just the conflict of interests will bring out the best case scenario for Jonesboro, and I think that's something that I love, that I can get behind. So,
voters will get to decide who the new mayor is November 3rd. I'm Maddison Smith reporting for ASU TV News. Amidst a pandemic, an EF3 tornado hit the center of Jonesboro, destroying houses, businesses, cars, and more. Many businesses have rebuilt or relocated, but one business in particular is finding it hard to start the rebuilding process.
And again, if they would have been working with me, let me start building, getting this building back, well, these other little problems can be solved along the way.
Reese said he has flown in an architect from Miami and spent over $12,000 to start the rebuild, but has not been successful. Director of Communications Bill Campbell said there is still paperwork that the city needs.
He has to have a structural engineer sign off on it and bring a plan to the city. Until that happens, the city cannot sign off and do special favors for any developer or anybody else.
Campbell said, once they turn in the papers, the city will be happy to assist and speed up the rebuild process. Reese said they are working every day to get the building permit and believes that it will happen eventually. They just haven't reached over this hump. I'm Maddison Smith reporting for ASU TV News. Arkansas State University has been working tirelessly to make sure that students and staff are safe on campus. CDC guidelines are followed and enforced on campus.
You know, the classrooms were laid out with, 6-foot spacing between workstations, with cleaning materials for both faculty and students when they go into the room. If they wish, they can wipe down their stations.
While some classes transitioned well to an online format, many professors had to change the way they taught their classes.
On the Tuesday before classes started, I called my chair and I said, I can't teach this. This isn't going to work. And I spent all summer planning, like, how can I make this work? How can we do it in the space? Okay, what can we do? Can we front load it so that if we have to shift to online, we've already used the sewing machines? But
professors are making sure that safety for them and students are their number one priority.
At the beginning of the year, we met with all of the bands, all of the students in A-State bands. And essentially, we outlined Dr. Oliver's and Dr. Labovitz's plans and their different projects that they're working on. And essentially, I told our students that depending on when or if we go on transition to online with marching band, that they would get a new syllabus within a week. And essentially, we're going to be making an exploratory program on experiences.
Whether A-State transitions to a full online model is still unknown, but professors say that they are ready to handle anything that's thrown at them. I'm Maddison Smith reporting for ASU TV News. A new law adopted by the Arkansas legislature in 2019 now permits microbreweries in dry counties with a private club permit. Native Brewery, co-founded by Jackson Spencer, Dustin Hunley, and Heath Gammon, have been approved by the city to apply for a formal application with the Alcohol Beverage Control Division. Jackson Spencer said they are excited to be the first brewery in Jonesboro, but are more excited about being able to highlight a part of Jonesboro that has great potential.
This area is in need of a revitalization. It's a street that needs some attention, and it's not dead. And we think that with the brewery as being a destination can be a cornerstone in helping revitalize this area.
Having their own brewery is something the co-founders have talked about for many years. The beer will be made in-house by Dustin Hunley, who has been making craft beer since 2012. Food will be served, as well as plenty of space to hold large events.
I always like to think of it as relaxed, but like a unique experience, and that we all have an appreciation for architecture and similar art. Again, like casual, family friendly. We hope to see dog friendly. The outside space we want to utilize and see people, on a day-to-day basis. I think someone said it best. Like we definitely won't be the kind of business you'll end your night with. We're hoping to kind of just be that daily stop, for someone to come in.
Craighead County has been a dry county since 1944, and many people in the community have voiced their concerns about more alcohol-related problems due to bars and private clubs.
About experiencing craft beer, not just drinking, if that makes any sense. So, will there be problems? Probably, yeah. Will there be a substantial amount of problems, I think, that would really cause any real issues with our community? No, I think the good that we will bring this community outweigh any potential negatives that could come from moving alcohol.
Native Brewery is still waiting on permits and license to move the process along. They are hopeful and excited, like many people in Jonesboro, to have a new experience and a space to be with friends. I'm Maddison Smith reporting for ASU TV News. With football season around the corner, the Sound of the Natural State had to find alternatives so they could still perform. Assistant Director of Bands Dr. Stephen Riley said during the summer, the Professional Music Education Organization did research to figure out the best way to social distance during performances and the sidelines.
That our state department guidelines recommend that direct that bands should be at least 6 feet apart, except for trombones. They actually get 9 feet of distance around each other. Again, that's just because the research is showing that they are a bigger spreader of aerosol.
After the White House Coronavirus Task Force identified Craighead County as a red zone, A-State Chancellor Kelly Dampist announced he will be invoking the post-Thanksgiving option. This means after Thanksgiving, classes will be delivered online along with finals. While many students have online or hybrid classes, others still have classes taught on campus. Freshman Colton Stedman said he does not have any concerns for his hybrid classes, but his in-person classes will take some getting used to.
I am going back to campus, and I'll be staying on campus and using the campus facilities. I'm doing class online. I'll still be eating at the caf and using the library and stuff like that.
Hello, and welcome to A-State Update on Red Wolf Radio from the Arkansas State University campus. I'm your co-host, Mariela Baez, here with co-host Maddison Smith. Hospitalizations set a new record Wednesday, with the numbers of COVID-19 hospitalizations now sitting at 1,088. The Arkansas Department of Health reported 2,212 new cases. The number of people on ventilators is down 9, now sitting at 186. Active cases sit at 16,378, and the death toll is 2,522. 2020 has been a challenging and eventful year for all of us. One of the main events of 2020 was the presidential election. I had the chance to talk to many people in the community about the importance of voting. Hello, I'm Mariela Baez giving you an A-State update on Red Wolf Radio. As we are getting ready to vote, we asked A-State students why it's important for college students to go out and vote.
If you don't vote, you have no say. If you vote, you're voting for that person in office. If you do not vote, you cannot complain about what they did whatsoever.
Connor Gossett mentioned that in voting. Another student also mentioned why voting is important to him. He is a medical student at A-State.
Because it brings truth to power and gives us a chance to really shape even the most local community.
Many female students also had something to say regarding to voting. Karen De Los Santos, a minority and a female, had this to say.
Because I feel like the people before us fought really hard for us to have a voice. I mean, especially women. I mean, when I was in school, that's what they really taught us is, you know, women struggled and went out and marched and demanded to, like, have a voice. And, you know, as like when I was in school as a teenager, I didn't think too much of it. It's like, oh, okay, you know, that's just something that happened.
Election days is in a couple of days, so please make sure to go out and vote. Students at Highland Middle School are putting together care packages to help spread joy to seniors in nursing homes. Members of the Highland Middle School Student Council and the Beta Club partner with Comfort Keepers Ministry to start the Silver Tree Project. The items in the care packages include puzzle books, chapstick, custom jewelry, makeup, nail polishes, frame photos, knickknacks, and what 7th grade science teacher Amanda Gates states is the most popular item asked for, Little Debbie snack cakes. Gates and 7th grade math teacher Ann Crow are helping lead this project, but said it's the students coming up with the ideas and plans for the packages. For the students, it's more than filling boxes. It's more ways to stay connected with those in the nursing homes. For the two teachers, they say the efforts their students are taking is heartwarming. Donations can be made in person at Highland Middle School outside the two entrances. The cutoff date for donation is December 8th. Wynn Intermediate School announced its new highly effective school accreditation from the Solution Tree this week. This is based on feedback for schools' improvement plan and focuses on areas that have the biggest impact on student learning. Principal Josh Wingo said the process started with the former principal, Sandra Halloway. Halloway helped create a leadership team and community council to help make their district a more student-focused environment. Wingo said keeping up with accreditation is important for districts because it helps ensure everything they are doing is the most effective way to positively impact their students. Throughout the process, Wynn Intermediate created 4 goals to work towards. These goals include a collaborative culture with all staff, providing all students the opportunity to matters a rigorous curriculum through blended learning, creating a safe and creative student-focused learning environment, and engaging and providing input from stakeholders regarding functionality at the school.
We've had a cold, rainy week so far. Currently on campus, we're sitting at a cold 41 degrees, cloudy skies. Looking into your weekend, Saturday, a high 51, sunny skies, and only a 5% chance of rain. Sunday will be a little colder, a high of 48, cloudy skies, and a 10% chance of rain. Monday will look like Sunday, high in the mid-40s. Tuesday and Wednesday look much better. Sunny skies for both days and a high in the mid-50s. That's your forecast for the week here on A-State Update on Red Wolf Radio. Instead of the usual path through Manhattan, this year's Macy's Day Parade was kept to the area in front of Macy's flagship store and aimed at the televised audience instead of live crowds. There were some familiar balloon faces, but the bigger balloons were missing the numerous handlers who would normally be walking underneath and holding the ropes. This year, they were attached to vehicles that kept them moving and decreased the number of people needed. Even with the pandemic protocols, the fact that the parade took place made it a rare festivity in the city that has seen most of its major events canceled over the last year because of the virus. A new brewery is working to gain permits to open in Jonesboro. Native Brewery is looking to be the first brewery to open in Jonesboro on G Street. I had the chance to speak with the co-owners about their progress and their plans for the new brewery. A new law adopted by the Arkansas legislature in 2019 now permits microbreweries in dry counties with a private club permit. Native Brewery, co-founded by Jackson Spencer, Dustin Hunley, and Heath Gammon, have been approved by the city to apply for a formal application with the Alcohol Beverage Control Division. Jackson Spencer said they are excited to be the first brewery in Jonesboro, but are more excited about being able to highlight a part of Jonesboro that has great potential.
This area is in need of a revitalization. It's a street that needs some attention, and it's not dead. And we think that with the brewery, as being a destination, can be a cornerstone in helping revitalize this area.
Having their own brewery is something the co-founders have talked about for many years. The beer will be made in-house by Dustin Hunley, who has been making craft beer since 2012. Food will be served, as well as plenty of space to hold large events.
I always like to think of it as relaxed, but like a unique experience, in that we all have an appreciation for architecture and similar art. Again, like casual, family friendly. We hope to see dog friendly. The outside space we want to utilize and see people, on a day-to-day basis. I think someone said it best. Like we definitely won't be the kind of business you'll end your night with. We're hoping to kind of just be that daily stop, for someone to come in.
Craighead County has been a dry county since 1944, and many people in the community have voiced their concerns about more alcohol-related problems due to bars and private clubs.
About experiencing craft beer, not just drinking, if that makes any sense. So, will there be problems? Probably, yeah. Will there be a substantial amount of problems? I think that would really cause any real issues with our community. No, I think the good that we will bring this community outweigh any potential negatives that could come from drinking alcohol.
Native Brewery is still waiting on permits and license to move the process along, but are hopeful and excited, like many people in Jonesboro, to have a new experience and space to be with friends. I'm Maddison Smith, A-State Update on Red Wolf Radio. President-elect Joe Biden's team is in the early stages of considering who to appoint as ambassadors around the world, with a handful of selections for high-profile posts expected to come sometime in January. Biden's team has keyed in on a few favorites for ambassador picks, but they are keeping a tight hold on that as they concentrate on filling his cabinet and wait to see whether Georgia's election will give Democrats a slim majority in the Senate. Former New York Congressman Steve Israel, Disney's Bob Iger, and diplomats like Bill Burns are among the names floated. After rolling out diverse national security and press teams, Biden is now facing increasing pressure to maintain a focus on diversity. The first wave of announcements is unlikely to come until January. Drake is selling a candle that smells like Drake. The rapper has released a line of scented candles, one that actually smells like him. According to the description from Revolve, the company he teamed with on the scent, the $80 candles called Carbon Musk features notes of musk, ambers, cashmere, suede, and velvet. It's the personal fragrance he wears. Drake even suggests playing the album that inspired this entire project the first time you light one, Midnight Live in Eugene. The soy wax blend includes a marker to personalize the jar. The candle, according to Resolve's website, has already sold out. That's all we have today for A-State Update on Red Wolf Radio. I'm co-host Maddison Smith, here with co-host Mariela Baez. Have a good day. Welcome. I'm your host, Maddison Smith, here with the Native Brewworks co-founders Jackson Spencer, Heath Gamble, and Dustin Hunley, here to talk about their new and first microbrewery to come to Jonesboro in the next year or so.
I'm Dustin Hunley, and I'm the brewer.
My name is Heath Gamble. I'm going to be helping with our future development as a business.
I'm Jackson Spencer, co-owner and I guess you can say director of operations. Yeah.
Craighead County has been a dry county since 1944, meaning no alcohol sales are permitted in the county without a private club or liquor license. The topic of making Craighead County a wet county has been argued and voted on for many years. The state law put into place in 1944 states that a county needs 38% of its registered voters to sign a petition to get a county's wet-dry status on the ballot. This has yet to happen. A new law adopted by the Arkansas legislature in 2019 now permits microbreweries in dry counties with a private club permit. Native Brewworks plans to be the first brew pub in Jonesboro.
I think we've all had our own experiences in similar businesses outside of the community, and I think we all find that, you have those moments where you just really appreciate someone crafting something for you. And I think we've been in conversation for a long time about how Jonesboro's ready for something like that. And obviously, getting to meet and know Dustin, and he's a very talented brewer, and I think, personally for me, I'm just happy to be a part of a group that's ready to do that here. But I think everyone has their own take too, so.
Yeah, I guess, I first started homebrewing in 2012, and back then it was kind of a long-term dream of mine to open a brewery, and we couldn't do that here at that time, and so moved away and experienced different things, and then learned about the legislation that made it possible, and that's when we got serious again. So.
We could open a brewery up anywhere, but we decided to do it here because this is our home. This is where we're all from. We were born and raised here in Jonesboro. No matter where we live, travel, we always came back home.
While the co-founders have been thinking about owning their own brewery for many years, the name came quickly to them. Arkansas is their native state, so it is only fitting to have native in their title. Spencer also stated that due to certain restrictions, they will have to take out brewery in their name, so they are looking at Native Restaurant as their official opening name.
Well, it took a lot to come up with the name. I think we were walking around Memphis one day, and the idea of native being another word for kind of like local, from a place. It's local craft beer, maybe with ingredients which I source locally, and our food will be local. And native just seemed to be a kind of name that would encompass all that. Plus, we live in the natural state, and native to our home state as well. So it has no ties to the Native American community, in terms of just the local community. Unfortunately, based on ABC rules and regulations, we're not allowed to have the word brew in our name. So we will be doing business as like Native Restaurant for the private club permit's sake.
10 years ago, you could count the craft breweries in Arkansas on one hand, most in Fayetteville and Little Rock. The 42 craft breweries in Arkansas in 2019 had an economic impact of $525 million, according to the Brewers Association. Today there are over 40 breweries in the state, in towns including Harrison, Mount Home, and Amity. This will be the first brewery to open in Jonesboro, and Native Brewworks co-owners are excited about it.
I guess it'd be easier if someone else did it first. We'd have a playbook to go by.
Yeah, there's a lot of firsts for sure.
I mean, it's fun to be first, but and it's exciting. Definitely, like to ride that high, but to us, I don't think that's going to be our distinguishing factor. It's going to be more about the experience, about the craft, about the service, about us giving back to the community. I think being first is just kind of icing on top of that.
There are still many unknowns for when the brewery will receive the permits needed or when the store will open. But one thing the co-owners know is they want Native Brewworks to be family and dog-friendly and somewhere to hang out and relax. Heath Gammon said they want the brewery to be a place where you can bring your family or start your night, not where you finish it. A variety of food will be served as well. They are unsure the type of food, but they want something that will complement the craft beers.
I always like to think of it as relaxed, but like a unique experience, in that we all have an appreciation for architecture and similar art. Again, like casual, family friendly. We hope to see dog friendly. The outside space we want to utilize and see people, on a day-to-day basis. I think someone said it best. Like we definitely won't be the kind of business you'll end your night with. We're hoping to kind of just be that daily stop, for someone to come in and have something that we've really tried to create, procure. As far as beer goes, he's the man. He can talk about that. The food, I think we're trying to be local sourced, but something casual and fun. We're looking at kind of a taco emphasis to begin with, and something maybe a revolving menu, over the quarters that would actually hopefully complement some of his creation too.
So as far as like the beer goes, planning to have about 4 year-round styles we'll always have on tap, and then 4 to 6 seasonals that will rotate with the seasons. Probably darker beers in the winter, fall, and lighter beers in the summer and spring.
The brewery will be located at 515 South G Street in the 1930s era building that has housed automotive shops, paint stores, and boutiques. This space was chosen not only because of the structure of the building, but because the co-owners felt that G Street is a spot that has great potential and they wanted to showcase this.
That it was already set up to be a brewery or a restaurant and have the outdoor space that we desired. That was one of the key factors in finding a location. Was we needed an outdoor space. We needed a place for dogs and kids and people to be hanging out, enjoying the weather, not just crammed inside. So we searched, and it was hard to find something within our budget too, because opening a brewery is not cheap. The brewing equipment is expensive, and we have to have a restaurant and all that equipment and everything else that goes along with it. The beautiful thing about G Street is, in this location, it is on G Street, obviously. It checked off some of our boxes. It was affordable, and also, I think this area is in need of a revitalization. G Street used to be a major thoroughfare and a very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Underutilized?
Or it was overutilized at the time. I mean, it was, a lot of people use this street. There's a lot of businesses on it, and everyone you talk to in Jonesboro has, they know about the Milky Way, the GE plant down there, the Presley's Drive-In, Grandpa's, all these. Yeah, it has character. Yeah, it's a street that needs some attention, and it's not dead. And we think that with the brewery, as being a destination, can be a cornerstone in helping revitalize this area. And also, this is our neighborhood. I live 2 blocks away. So, we want to see good things happen in our neighborhood.
To this point, in terms of the revitalization, I can't tell you how many people have called even in the last week since they heard about the reading of the city, and they want to know more about G Street. They want to know more about what's going on through here. And if you look at it, like you were talking earlier, it's a hot spot. It's got a lot of cool old architecture. It's just kind of ready to be kind of gone through and to be revitalized and to be bolted onto the West End. That's all like any of us really want. But I think like we're just excited too about the opportunity of kind of creating more another cool place to work and again to learn the craft. That money stays in the community, you know. That money just goes further, you know, when we're the ones creating the jobs and we're the ones creating like, you know, a product that not only is appreciated but just gets used over and over, you know. So yeah.
The City of Jonesboro has approved the private club permit. Some people during the city council meeting voiced their concerns and disapproval of the permit. James Hines said, "I think introducing liquor into that area is absolutely the worst thing you can do." Bob Hester also said, "You're just keeping this culture of alcohol. If we stop it now, we can maybe take it back in the other direction." This is what Spencer had to say in response to these concerns.
There always will be. But I mean, there's over 7,000 microbreweries in the United States, all throughout this country. And there's bars and restaurants and alcohol all throughout this country. And it's not the driving force of any kind of, you know, there's not real good statistics on crime and things like that. In my opinion, I guess I don't know if it's an opinion or not, but for us, like, this is not a honky tonk. This is not a little hole, seedy hole in the wall. It's an open, bright space. And it's not a place to come and get hammered and throw back a bunch of drinks. It's a place to come and enjoy the craft behind it and the artists behind that craft and the community that's associated with the production and the consumption of it. So it's about experiencing craft beer, not just drinking, if that makes any sense. So will there be problems? Probably, yeah. Will there be a substantial amount of problems, I think, that would really cause any real issues with our community? No. I think the good that we will bring to this community outweigh any potential negatives that could come from moving alcohol. The legislation that we're applying for, we are capped at 21%, so we can neither sell nor manufacture anything above 21% alcohol by volume. So you won't be able to get a shot of tequila or vodka drinks or anything like that here. It's literally what we can make in-house. And honestly, like, I'm not going to throw out a number of what like our highest alcohol percentage would be, but I can pretty much guess it won't be 21%. That's really hard and expensive to do with beer. So it's going to be a place that won't just be getting sloshed all the time.
The co-founders stated they have done everything they can so far to the building with the permits they have. They tore down the inside drop-down ceiling and repurposed the wood to make the outside fence and started to buy items that they will be needing in the store. But until they are approved for the permits and license they need, they are at a standstill.
The city will then go to the state, and that's when we have the official private club license. And then on the other side of it, we also have to do a brewer's notice for the federal and apply for that.
Yeah, so we're in the process right now trying to get our building permits approved with our architect through the city, so that we can actually come in and start, putting in the hard stuff like the electric, plumbing, HVAC, sprinkler system for fire. So that all should be happening during that time as well. And I think that gives us an opportunity to get back to the community in a big way. This industry is known for its commitment back to community, either through charitable donations, partnering with nonprofits, doing different types of community engagement events, whether it be cleanups or fun runs, anything to help give back to the community that we are living in and who's giving to us as well. So that's another thing I really want people to know is expect us to be out there. It's not like we're just going to get our license and sit here and just try to sell a bunch of beer and laugh all over the bank. We really want to give back, to host those different events and partners with those different nonprofits and have benefit nights and things like that. I want our name to be synonymous with giving back to the community that's giving so much to us.